This is a rather low-budget movie that takes on the story of a crew of coal miners. And it's a very simple and straightforward movie. There aren't really any twists or turns in this one. The crucial event that the whole movie is built around also happens a good 30 minutes into the movie. And since this is spoiler-free, I'm not sure if I should even mention it, although it's really what the movie is actually about. So let's just say that these guys aren't exactly having the best of days. Things go wrong. But the movie itself opens up with this coal miner's poem and an a cappella song. And I thought that actually painted a pretty good picture and set the tone and mood perfectly. Because coal mining is far from a glamorous profession, and these guys aren't exactly living in a wealthy neighborhood either. In fact, where they're living, employment options aren't exactly plentiful. And many of these guys have been doing this for generations. It runs in the blood, so to speak. In fact, one of the guys on the crew is the son of another guy on the crew. And he's there for his first day on the job. And the rest of them are basically veterans. But yeah, as I said, this is a very simple movie. There aren't a lot of layers to peel back here. I also mentioned that it's a low budget movie, and that shows in more ways than one. First of all, it looks okay. It's not poorly shot, and it looks like they somehow got access to an actual mine too. And as far as that goes, the movie sold me on them being actual coal miners working in an actual mine. It's gritty, it's dirty, it's cramped, it's loud. It's a hard way to make a living. And the movie went all out in that regard to convince the audience it's all for real. However, I will have to say that the acting here isn't all that great. It's very much B grade, which is especially noticeable in the more quiet, toned down, dialogue heavy scenes. But I will also say that once this thing really got going and things started happening, a lot of my issues with the acting kinda disappeared and became more of a background noise. And I didn't really have an issue with it for most of the actual runtime. Another thing that gives away the fact that this isn't exactly a major blockbuster are the visual effects. I mean, they're serviceable at best, but definitely nothing I would call great. Thankfully though, this one didn't rely too heavily on that to make it work. And some of the more subtle effects did kinda blend in a bit more and didn't stand out too much. But I will also have to mention that the dialogue writing here is what I would call, well, a bit heavy-handed. They make sure you know exactly what's going on at any moment. They make it clear what the character motivations are and what's going on with the plot too. And I would have personally appreciated a little bit more subtlety when it came to all of that. But then again, this definitely didn't rely on the dialogue to be effective either. And I would say that once it got going, this turned out to be pretty effective. And toward the end there, I even found myself way more invested than I thought I'd be. Because for all its flaws, it kinda knows what it's doing and ended up being somewhat compelling actually. And pretty brutal and hardcore too at certain moments. This one definitely didn't shy away from that kind of stuff either. It gets pretty real at times. But overall, I wouldn't call this a particularly great movie, but it's not terrible for what it is. However, would I recommend it? Probably not to most people, no. But if you like these kind of simple, low-budget movies, this one might be worth checking out. But I'd say it's pretty safe to skip, or you could not do that. After all, I'm not your dad. But hey, what are your thoughts on this? Have you seen it? Did you like it? Let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a thumbs up or sub to the channel, because that would be fantastic. And if you'd like, you can also support me on Patreon or PayPal through links in the description. And as always, I appreciate you and thanks for watching.